I enjoy reading J. Frank Dobie anytime, anywhere, any place. A little bit about myself. This is my third year being the Master of Ceremonies. I'm a writer. I did movies in Hollywood, wrote screenplays. I did television in New York. I did theater in New York. I had a column for the San Antonio Current for a while. I have 2 novels that came out. One came out this year. It was nominated for 4 national awards, and it won one. Thank you. I've done a little bit of everything except greeting cards, and that's next. I'm going to be reading to you from Cow People. And this is a chapter, and it's not going to be that long, The Drouthed. And I did find my glasses, so I'm going to put them on now because I can actually read better. Do all that. Now this thing's doing a little... Hang on a sec. There we go. That's better. Can y'all hear me now? Everybody can hear me okay? All right. Nick, and I'm going to use my Texas family accent. I'm going to change it a little bit here. So if you try to follow along with me. Nick Dunn, who belonged inside and out to ranching before barbed wire was invented, used to say, "With 1 good name and 2 good reins, I could borrow enough money to buy all the cattle in Nueces County." Owners of ranches purchased with money from oil, gas, factories, city businesses, and the like are not among the drought marked. Air conditioning may erase the mark on town dwellers in arid regions, but air conditioning does not make grass grow. Flying cloud cedars, Hopi Indians ceremonially dancing for rain while holding rattlesnakes between their teeth, Christians kneeling to pray for rain, all have proved no more effective than setting up a rain gauge in the Sahara Desert. Charles M. Doughty's Travels in Arabia says more about lands and people of drought than tons of scientific reports and myriads of novels heroizing hard-bitten men. It is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. Anybody relate to this? Doughty wrote, "I pray that nothing be looked for in this book but the seeing of a hungry man and the telling of a most weary man. The sun made me an Arab, but never warped me to Orientalism." Doughty was a great human being and a thinking scholar from moist, misty, green England. Wandering for what seemed an interminable time with Arabian nomads over their deserts, he was made into an Arab not by human association, but by the sun, drought. Newspapers published in farm and ranch territory west of the 98th meridian headline dollar estimates of drought and rain. The effect that prolonged drought has upon people who live with it, resisting and shriveling in harmony with the vegetation of the land, cannot be measured by figures. Feed, mobility, and other factors now prevent big die-ups, but not the effects of long, unrelenting drought upon the inner life. Look at the faces of people who belong elementally. They may not be sculpted by thought, they never evidence easy success, but they do reveal a profound chastening. One drought endurer of the 1890s had all his cattle mortgaged, and no mortgage holder was able or willing to advance more money for expenses. Every morning he sent his men out to skin dead cattle. Every night he received a tally on the hides brought in. As regularly as it came, he would say, "Well, thank God the hides ain't mortgaged." He could sell them for expense money. One year down in the brush country, the prickly pear wilted until it was moistureless. Singeing off the thorns with pear burners made it eatable to cattle, but it became more and more foodless. Cattle were dying. There seemed to be no grass anywhere to move them to. Oscar Thompson had got his note renewed 2 or 3 times with increasing unwillingness. One bank had advanced meager sums for running expenses. He owed everybody he could owe, and everybody he owed was dunning him. For more than a year, he had been unable to pay the Hebronville merchant who supplied groceries, harness, kerosene for pear burners, and other necessities. Merchants of ranch country in those days sold on credit until they ran out. One day, Oscar Thompson drove to town, put his team in a livery stable, and boarded the train for San Antonio. Maybe he could get one more advance from his chief mortgage holder. Anybody who saw him get off the train 4 days later would have sensed his failure. It was dark when he reached the ranch. "Well, I guess I better eat a little something," he said in a dispirited voice to Juan, his cook. "All right." Juan's voice was also dispirited. Mr. Oscar went into the dining room, dimly lit by a kerosene lamp. The table was set. The water in the bean pot was too clear to be called bean soup. There was a little warmed-over cornbread. There was nothing else. "Why didn't you cook salt pork with these beans, Juan?" Mr. Oscar asked, but not in a reprimanding way. "No, I." "Well, where's the coffee, Juan?" "No, I." "No, I," Mr. Oscar echoed. "I told you before I left to hitch up the wagon and go to town for a load of groceries." "Yes, Mr. Oscar," Juan replied. "I hitched the horses to the wagon. I drive to the store. The owner says he cannot sell without pay. You give me no money." "All right, Juan," Mr. Oscar sighed. "All right. Everything has come out even. No grass, no water, no provisions, no sale for cattle, no money, no credit. For the first time in my life, I see everything has come out even. Exactly even. No nothing."